very good evening to you, and a warm welcome to Appit again for another interesting session on meeting an expert and, of course, meeting a very nice and a very challenging human being, right? Before we go on to the session, we have our chairman who would like to share a few thoughts with you. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Kaushali. Thank you, Rohanta. So it's first of all on behalf of the CEO Roshani Godege and the staff, and for the student population, I would like to very warmly welcome Dr. Phillip Nehri for being with us in spite of busy schedule. And as I explained prior, so your participation of this forum is basically purely for the benefit of the students. And during our childhood, we didn't have this sort of a attraction, direct attraction for the CEOs forum. So once again, thank you very much for your presence, Doctor. And also, as you all know, that APIT known for the quality education. Our intention is not only for the people going for the academic excellence. We want to have some so overall the good person for the society, especially for the leadership skills. We want to build up all our students within the leadership within them. Therefore, build leaders is one of our aspiration from a pit side. So, with regard to you, Doctor, basically looking at your successful journey, what I mean is not the position where you are handling, having right now is the journey that you had is purely really a symbol of success for our students. You in any way that you can interpret in many ways, like entrepreneurship, the leadership, the right examples for our students. I mean, I can express many ways, Doctor. So I urge you to express whatever the hardcore learning that you had in your life, and also whatever the expectation that you need from our students, apart from your topic given by Dr. Rohanta. So I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Rohanta for initiated this one, and also specially thank for using your valuable time for our students. So over to you, Dr. Rohanta and the Kaushali. Thank you very much. Very warmly welcome you here for APIT from side, Doctor. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Chairman. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Phillip Nehri, the youngster who has gone through a lot of tough times in his early life. And, I mean, I've been knowing him personally for the last maybe 20 years, kind of. And I've seen how he has pushed himself to go on to become Sri Lanka's #1 in the final stage of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, which is a very, very tough exam, and he in fact won the Sri Lankan Prize for Analysis and Evaluation. He was the youngest Sri Lankan to be awarded the full scholarship from the government of the USA for therapeutic community psychology and methodology. He's honored with a doctorate by the United Nations University for Global Peace for exceptional revival of life. He's currently CEO of a 2 billion plus company, CEO of Chandanalepa, the pioneering Ayurvedic cosmetic brand in Sri Lanka. And I don't think we have had a lot of guests in the CEO forum, but I think today is a very, very special day because I've been knowing Phillip, and I know how hard he works and how tough his life has been, and it's absolute inspiration to have people of this caliber who can talk to us. So today is a very, very special day, Phillip, and I like to thank you for making time to talk to the youngsters. And over to you, Phillip. All the very best.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rohanta. Firstly, I consider this opportunity as a great privilege for me to participate on this. I am Phillip Nehri. I come from a broken family. I firmly believe that this session, my utmost expectation is that this session will help you to transform your life. So I urge you to listen to it very carefully. There are some fundamental rash decisions which I've taken in my life, when I was a youngster, and I hope that my life story as well as my presentation will help you to become very strong contributing Sri Lankans. So I come from a broken family. My mom left me when I was about 3 years, and life at home for me was really gloomy. I never wanted to be at home because, a home without a mother is really empty. Though I was born to a very poor family, my father was a very courageous man. So he somehow was able to get me to St. Joseph's College, Colombo, with a lot of groanings to people, get some influential letters. He got me to St. Joseph's College, and then I always preferred to stay away from home because, as I've told you, uh, I didn't have a mom when I was a child. So I preferred to stay away from home, and unfortunately, I've made a very rash decision in selecting a bad set of friends. I was about 15 years old. I was a brilliant student. I was a brilliant student. I've had sports in my body also, but then because of these wrong affiliations, at the age of 17, I got hooked on to very dangerous drug called heroin at the age of 17. And within no time, heroin, which was a very dangerous drug, destroyed the dreams and aspirations and hopes of my parents, and I couldn't excel I was in the math stream. I was a brilliant student, but then I could not excel in my studies as how I should. So if there are people, who have regretting thoughts about your past, I listen to me carefully, and then I went after heroin just like a stray dog going after meat. And within no time, I was really addicted to heroin. And then life was so miserable for me, so miserable for me. And then there was a time that I thought, I just need to get out of it. I just need to get out of the system. It was so tiring for me. And then I drank poison, but I survived. I suffered to death. I lived on liquid food, where you keep a funnel, and then you put liquid food. You just stop here for once, and you swallow liquid food like this, because my throat was greatly damaged for poison, and I survived that situation. And then on another occasion where I was depressed, I hanged up myself, but luckily there was the surroundings saw me and they saved me. And finally, on another disastrous juncture where I was so depressed about life, I've had nobody to love me, everybody left me, and so I cut the main vein in my left hand. It was a deep cut, and I was saved miraculously. And because of this abnormal and aggressive behavior, my father said, let's go and meet a psychiatrist, and then because I can't say no to him, I just say, okay, Tata, let's go. And then he took me to a psychiatrist, and then after a lengthy, after some sessions, some continuous sessions, this doctor diagnosed me and said, I'm a mental patient. And then he got me admitted to Angoda National Mental Hospital. I still remember the tears in my dad's eyes. It was a very painful moment for him. He just looked after me even after my mom left, with a lot of struggles. And for a father to admit his son to Angola National Mental Hospital could have been a very tough, tough, tough situation. And after that, I came out from Angola, and I was diagnosed. I was treated by Dr. Usha Gunavardhana, and she got me admitted into another hospital, and I was treated as a mental patient there. And then on the third time by Dr. Saman Hettige, I was treated as a mental patient. But then I escaped from that hospital. I was really boisterous. I was really aggressive, and this nature pushed me to streets. Sometimes it will be so difficult for you to listen to this story, because it seems like when I tell this story, I share this story abroad also. It's like an action film, But then I hope that you will derive the extract out of it, and that you will face tomorrow with great confidence. So I was pushed onto streets. And I was merely begging on the Hivala Junction and Nugegoda Junction, and that was this famous place. I used to beg $2, $3, $1, in front of the previous William grinding mills in Vellavatha. Those three locations I used to change day by day, and that was my living, because I was physically lost. I mean, like, I've lost, heroin completely destroyed my physical abilities, and I couldn't even run, and I couldn't even make the quick bucks which I used to make. And then people started leaving me. Nobody wanted to love me. Nobody wanted to be my girlfriend. Everybody left me, even my family members, apart from my dad, who, hang on to me. But then one day I saw I'm sure that you'll not take this word in a wrong way, a prostitute in Vellavatha, and I thought I should propose her to marry me, because my mind was at a very losing end. And I thought only a prostitute would marry a loser like me. So that was the disastrous situation that I was in. And then I've spent most of my youth in rehabilitation centers, but there came a time where the Sri Lankan rehabs rejected me. When they hear my name, they said, no, you can't accept him, because he's known for some mass escapes. I used to carry out some escapes in all these rehabilitation, so I was not accepted by the Sri Lankan rehabilitation centers also. And enough was enough for me. I didn't have a place to sleep, and I've slept inside trains. And there was a famous toilet, which is an outside toilet of a shopping mall, which is for the ground staff of that shopping mall. And I used to go there in the night. I've had that huge, big cardboard, which is a box of a refrigerator. I used to keep it in the the toilet. I sleep, get up at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and then just roam around in the streets again, trying to find a few bucks and live on heroin. But one blessed day, I thought, I should make a very strong decision to come out of it. But then the physical symptoms of drugs, unfortunately, many youngsters use it without knowing the detrimental aspect of it. I never knew, to be honest, I never knew heroin is such dangerous and would destroy my young days. So I went to my father and I said, Tata, ඔයා මට මේ ඇඟේ අමාරුවේ අයින් කරන්න මට බෙහෙත් ටිකක් painkillers ටික. I said, buy me some painkillers. I want to come out of it. The rehabs in Sri Lanka is not accepting me. So would you please get me some painkillers just to overcome the physical symptoms. So he went to the psychiatrist who was treating me, got some painkillers. I was able to get out of the physical symptoms, and I took a decision, and I met a lovely lady, old lady named Kamala Senaratna, Auntie Kamala Senaratna. She guided me towards truth. She was the one who actually guided towards the truth. And then I took a decision that I should bounce back in life. And this is after a lengthy period. And one day, my father came and said, Puta, shall we do CIM, UK again? I've tried doing it long time back. I didn't because of this drug addiction. I said, Tata, it's going to be difficult, at this age to start CIM UK. But then he said, I've got a little bit of saved money, and I'll invest on you for the last time. Don't give up. Let's do this. And I, a very, very innocent man. So I said, okay, let's do it. Out of inspiration, I started doing CIM UK, but it was a very tough ask because my brain, my system wasn't attuned to studying for many years after A-levels, many years. So I started looking at notes and I couldn't remember anything. I've got this negative thoughts, my brain is dead, my neurons are dead and all that things which I've heard about memory cells. But then I kept on studying hard, really hard. When I say really hard, there were days that I studied from one morning at a stretch to the next morning. I've studied. And then I've had some friends, they were young because I was mature, though I started life, late. They were young. So I told them, listen, I want to be the best in Sri Lanka. And I said, I just dream, I have a big dream that I want to become the best in the country. And then my friend said, mate, you're crazy, mate. I mean, in one way, it's fair enough from their side to think that way, because they knew my story, straight out of streets, drug addict, mental patient, filthy, stinky in life, and this guy comes and says, he wants to be the best in the country. So in one way, it's fair for them to call me crazy. And they said, he's crazy, and to my face, they've said, mate, you're crazy. But then I never gave up hope, I've had a strong belief in God also. I studied. And by the grace of Almighty God, I went on to win the overall Sri Lankan best results in CIM. And that also in the final stage. Not on stage 1, not on stage 2, not on stage 3, which is the most difficult stage. And plus, I was a Sri Lankan prize winner for analysis and evaluation, which is a subject which I like a lot, and that was the turning point in my life, from zero, all of a sudden, to the best in the country. And then I've met this wonderful gentleman. I still have a lot of gratitude towards him. In today's context, you don't see people trying to help lost souls, lost people. Everybody wants to, flock around, successful people, have a glass of wine with successful people, have fellowship. And I met this wonderful gentleman. I was no one, I was zero, I didn't even have a bank account, not even a single perch. And the treasure I had was these 2 Sri Lankan prizes. And his name is Dr. Rohanta. And thank God, he got me into lecturing at a very famous Sri Lankan institute at that time. It was the best. It was Academy of Business Studies. And I'm so grateful to him. I know he's also young. I'm a famous CEO in the industry now, but yet to date I call him sir. Simply because of the gratitude I have towards him for helping me out when I was no one. And I believe that you guys will also take this as an example and lend a hand to someone who's really lost. One day he might turn up to be a person who's going to change the world, right? So I grabbed that opportunity with both hands, lovely. And this guy is the owner of ABS, never even, talked to me for a long time because of the recommendation of Dr. Rohantha. And then I excelled very well. I started, becoming famous for my lecturing. My style was very unique. And then I also became the youngest Sri Lankan, or the first Sri Lankan to be awarded a full scholarship from the government of United States in the field of therapeutic community psychology. And then one of the biggest achievements in my life was to be honored by the United Nations University for Global Peace with a doctorate. And when the papers were submitted, when the papers were submitted, out of the 120 governors of 120 countries of UN university unanimously signed the papers and honored me with a doctorate simply for the astonishing comeback, revival, the bounce back of my life, believing that I could make a change in the youth the world over. And after that, no, and down the line, I've got the wonderful opportunity to work or the marketing for a wonderful brand, which is Sri Lanka's market leading herbal cosmetics brand called Nature Secrets. And it was during my time, it was a great revival for the brand that I've launched the main category of face wash, which went on to achieve 50% unprecedented market. Having, I think, you students will get to know, having 50% of market shares in a industry, in a highly competitive industry where there are about 200 odd brands, Sri Lankan and foreign brands, and to have 50% of market shares is a great achievement. So we went on to achieve 50% of market shares in the face wash category. And then during my tenure, we've launched the famous baby kids brand, infant brand, Panda Baby, which is very famous in Sri Lanka. It was launched by me, and the brand, seeing my contribution as well as my commitment, its visionary leadership, whom I have a lot of respect up to date, Mr. Samantha Kumar Singh, he promoted me to navigate the brand for the South Asian region, including Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan. So I've launched, during my time, launched in India, launched Nature Secrets in Pakistan, and revamped the marketing structure in Bangladesh also. And after that, I was headhunted by another company, which the brand is very popular, that in the supermarket shelves, that you see a brand called Enjoy, which is the market leading natural coconut oil brand, which I elevated into the market leading position in the natural coconut oil industry. And then presently I serve as the Chief Executive Officer for Sri Lanka's largest and pioneering Ayurvedic cosmetics brand, Chandanalepa, which I'm sure that ladies might have heard of. And then as of now, inspiring many Sri Lankan entrepreneurs, we have stepped into 18 countries across the world with this brand, and our greatest inspiration is to make a global brand, just like Dilma, where every Sri Lankan can be proud of. And to move into the second part of my story, it wasn't a easy decision to come back in life. All I had was a torn 20 rupee note in my ragged blue jeans the first day I've started my second chapter. Nobody to love me, nobody had faith apart from very few people, like I've said. But then there are a few things which I've practiced, which I want to share with you today. And the first life lesson which I want you students to learn or to adapt is that I've had a great craving to climb high. I've had a great craving. You know, people consider me as crazy when I just explain my dreams, and I say that I want to become the best in this, I want to become the best in that, I want to build this brand into market leadership, and they say, and they thought that I'm crazy. But then I've had this great desire to climb high, even up to date. The first thing after my prayers in the morning, what I do is like, how am I going to better myself compared to yesterday? And just like how I crave for food, I mean, like, just like how I desire food for breakfast or desire food for lunch, I have this desire to climb high a lot. And I advise you to have that appetite to climb high. And that should be an appetite. That should be a craving desire. Just as how you want to, that's how you crave to physically master your body. You should have the craving to climb high. That was one of the formulae, one of the main ingredients in my formulae. And then the second thing is I've clearly understood my greatest enemy. I've clearly understood my greatest enemy. And I've understood that my greatest enemy is not anybody else. I've understood that my greatest enemy is not the society. I've understood that my greatest enemy is not the people who's jealousy over me. I've understood that my greatest enemy is me. So I've understood it very clearly, and I want to encourage you also. Your greatest enemy is nobody else. Your greatest enemy is you. Because nobody tells you to postpone the assignment. Who tells you to postpone your assignment for the next semester? Is it your mom or is it your dad? No, it's you. Who tells you to wake up late? Is it your brother or is it your friend? No, it's you. Who tells you, come on, you just skip your workout today, maybe tomorrow? Who tells you that? It's not anybody else. It's you. So your greatest enemy, or to the matter of fact that, if who tells you to eat junk? Huh? Is it somebody else? No, it's you. So just like I've understood that my greatest enemy is me, I urge that you understand that your greatest enemy is you, not anybody else, right? And then I've never wanted the third ingredient in my secretive formulae was that I've never wanted to compare myself with anybody else. I've never wanted to compare myself with anybody else. All I wanted to compare was I just wanted to compare myself with me yesterday and me today. That was my comparison. And I wanted to be unique in my approach, and I firmly believed in myself, and I firmly believed in my faith, and I believed that I could do things which is far beyond general human understanding, which you ought to believe, And then the next thing is I was so determined not to fed by nonsense. Come on, your life is like a garden. You either sow a fruitful seed, or you can sow a weed, which is futile. Your life is just like a garden. You have the liberty of sowing either a fruitful seed or a weed, but it's the outcome of it depends on what you sow, and you don't have the time to listen to nonsense of other people. I've banned certain TV channels in my house simply because I've understood that these channels are feeding nonsense into the brains of my children. Yeah? So you ought to take a decision, a firm decision, that you will never let people or system or communications to feed nonsense into yourself. I was so determined on that. You know, when John Lennon and Beatles went with their first track to one of the famous studios, they said, listen, nobody's gonna hear this song. But John Lennon and Beatles, their inner voice was so strong than the negative or the nonsense voice of the outside studio. And they went on to become a legendary group. And then even Albert Einstein was identified a slow gatherer in his younger age, but his desire, his craving to seek the unseen, elevated him to one of the greatest scientists ever lived. So that was the third ingredient in my successful formulae, that I was determined not to be led by nonsense. Come on, you've got enough of dramas in your life. You don't want anybody else's drama. You know, just listen to somebody else's CD or some gossip about somebody else, you know, and you've wasted precious time of yours by just letting somebody else to feed you with nonsense. Just think for a moment, is your five senses are trash bins? Can anybody come and dump trash into your ears? Would you ever let anybody to just dump all the filthy things of this world into your eyes? Or anybody to dump any trash into your brain? Come on, you just can't afford to do that. Time is so precious for you. You know, we've all got limited time. So don't let anybody to, or any system or communication tool or anything to use you as trash bins, so that whenever that they want, they can just dump nonsense into you. So I was so determined that I will never let anybody feed nonsense to me. And then the next thing which I wanted to tell you is that procrastination is a great poison. Procrastination is a great poison. You know, I've seen people who postpone washing their plate, youngsters postponing washing their clothes, youngsters postponing their assignments, youngsters postponing the classes, are going to be losers one day, as adults postponing their marriage, postponing constructing their own house, postponing their studies, giving up, because procrastination is just like a seed. So if you fertilize procrastination when you're young, procrastination will grow in your mind, just as how you cultivate a tree, fertilizing it, water, fertilizers, and it grows out to bring fruits. If you water procrastination, if you fertilize procrastination, when you grow up, you will procrastinate things also. So today, if you have to go for classes, you have to go for classes. If you have to do an assignment, that you have to do an assignment. I am a CEO. I come to work in the first place. Sometimes I come before the office aide, whom that you call the PM. That word is not there anymore. And then I would consider me as the last person to leave the office, because I want to make sure that things that I have to do have to be finished by today. There is no tomorrow. Obviously, there is a definition called tomorrow, but in the existent realm, there is nothing called tomorrow. It's today. Even that you get up tomorrow, that's today. So many procrastination or you lose opportunities, they become regretful yesterdays. Just imagine that you couldn't do anything yesterday. That's a regretful yesterday. Many regretful yesterdays will compile into many fearful tomorrows. Many fearful tomorrows. So don't procrastinate anything. And that's the fourth main ingredient in the formulae of mine. And finally, break the chains of fear. Break the chains of fear. Fear can slave you in a den of isolation. Fear can surely enslave you in a den of isolation. I have a friend, who was in prison for 25 years, and his name is Bandula, a very close friend of mine. He said when he came out of prison after 25 years, he was utterly lost because Sri Lanka has changed. The systems have changed, infrastructure have changed, the roads have changed. Fear will put fear will put you in a similar situation. Fear will make you a prisoner in the past and will avoid you traveling in the future. Out of fear, you will put yourself in isolation. And when the lecturer asks, who's going to do the presentation? And this fear thing puts you in isolation, and you try to hide your face. No, you break the chains of fear. You lift your hands and say, yes, I'm going to do the presentation. And by doing it, you're training your mind. You're breaking the chains of fear. And fear automatically will leave you the more that you reject it. It's like a friend. A boy comes after a girl, and she rejects 1,000 phone calls of this boy. And then this boy will decide, no, I'm not going to go after this girl. No, she's not interested. Fear, procrastination, and all those destructive thoughts are just like physical elements. The more you reject them, the more they will leave you. So that's the 5 ingredients which I wanted to share with you. I've had a great desire for this session, merely because at our age, there was really, we never had this. When I saw this Meet a CEO thing, I thought, damn, man, this is wonderful. I see this as beyond education, which cannot be measured from materialistic, valuation, where that you not only give education, but you give life education also. And I believe this 1 hour is not of waste for you. You ain't got time to waste. I wasted 30 years of my time predominantly on drugs because there was less guidance. So you cannot afford to lose these opportunities. So I'm very happy, and I'm sure that it is a great inspiration. My story, I've actually been invited to make a film on my story, to make a film, and I think it's good. I've written my autobiography, which will be launched. I've delayed the launch because I've understood the circumstances. The environment is not conducive for a book launch. It's written. It's about to go for print, and I'm sure that you will buy it. I don't want to sell the book here. All of I'm telling you that you buy that book, and read it and pass it on to some other people and help someone who's really lost, have no hope in life, zero, not even a rupee in her in his or her account, but then get them to dream big. And I invite you to dream big. Nothing will stop you if you dream big. Thank you very much. And this is my story in very brief. I was very determined about the time also. Time is very precious and I can't waste time. So I think I'm right on time with my first presentation. You have any questions, I'll be more than happy. To give you answers.
Thank you very much, Philip. And I think we've done this for some time, but today was a very, very special day. And it's so fantastic to see you driving such a powerful brand. The company is a 2 billion plus brand, and developing new products, going into new markets. I'm sure you must be enjoying the experience of putting theory to practice. And of course, what you just now shared, crystal clear on your thoughts. which is very few CEOs actually have this quality, crystal clear. So I'm really, really proud. I know I have taught you. I have spoken to your dad. I have come in search of you, and it's so lovely. So, what do you want to be, Philip, in the next 3 to 5 years?
Like I've told you, I've got big dreams, big dreams and big commitment. I actually, they say I'm in the first four in the CEO list in the personal care industry, but my dream in 3 years to become the number one sought out CEO in the personal care industry. And I am sure that I'm in the verge to be there. I want to set a value for myself. I want to I want to be sold at a premium price as a CEO. You know, that's my dream to be in 3 years. And I also have a greater dream. Just like I've told you, when I say my dreams, people say that I'm crazy. I have a dream of becoming a world famous life transforming coach, where every Sri Lankan can be proud of. We have very less brands, Dilma, few brands that we Sri Lankans can be proud of. So I want to be a life transforming coach where the world respects. And every Sri Lankan will be proud to say, he's from Sri Lanka.
I mean, to be very honest with you, Philip, I know you're doing good at Chandanalepa, and I'm sure you have a fantastic career ahead of you, but I think you're going to make your money not now. And I know that you're not money driven, but your real impact to the world is going to be when you share this story across the world. And I'm going to invite you to Rotary one of these days, because I mean this kind of story is seldom. So I mean, we have had inspirational speakers across different spectrums, and I mean, having traveled around the world and served different multinationals, I mean, we also get exposed to people. But I think you're right. You're somewhere right up there for believability. So uh, I mean, so tell me, if you have to take a choice between being a TED Talk speaker and and going around the world, especially because we are in a pandemic and motivation is very low, against a top CEO job that you will have to be offered with, what is the choice that you will make?
Frankly speaking, I've earned money. I've earned money and I'm earning money. I'm a consultant for a few good companies in Sri Lanka, apart from being a CEO. And I've developed national concepts. I'm the concept owner of Healthy Sri Lanka, which was a national concept. Answering this question, I will have no doubts of selecting a motivational speaker, because it's beyond money, and that you see people changing, people coming. Sometimes parents come embrace me and say, because of your story my son changed, and they cry. And that feeling is completely beyond money. So I'll have no doubts of selecting becoming a life transforming coach.
I mean, it's very strange you say that, Philip, because the other day I invited Shani, the ambassador for Beirut and Lebanon, and she was our guest speaker. And we were doing the warm-up session before we went at 6:30 live. And then Shani tells me, I said, I don't know whether you know me, Doc, but Shani, I've seen you coming for different programs at Colombo University. And no, Rohanta, this Philip met me. Philip has told everything about you. Are you doing business in
Yes,
are you
yes.
there?
I've actually, we are presently available in 18 countries across the world. And recently we've launched Chandanalepa in Lebanon, and Madam, Her Excellency Shani Kalyanaratne was highly instrumental in helping the Sri Lankan brand. I I'm so happy that Sri Lanka has government servants like her caliber, who takes passion in helping Sri Lankan brands. We've launched Chandanalepa in Lebanon last month.
And she said that, I mean, the products are actually doing good, and it's good products.
Yes, the secret I want to share with the students also. The first thing that you want to, if you want to become very successful, or that you want to make a brand very successful, you got to make sure that the core speaks about. I mean, the core product itself speaks about. Especially if you don't have thumping advertising budgets to fight with multinationals or fight with top brands. So let the product itself speak. So our product, we don't use mineral oils in our products. Mineral oil is very cheap. It's 7 or 10 times cheaper than natural oils. But we make sure as a policy, we use only natural oils, because we believe if you make the product right, the product itself will talk. Because I'm a strong believer on word of mouth, very strong believer on word of mouth. So I make sure, if you don't have thumping budgets to fight in the communication realm with multinationals, make sure that you make the right product or service and let the product talk.
So, Philip, what are the key challenges you have in Sri Lanka as a CEO?
The biggest challenge we have right now is the fearful mindset of the consumer. Now, when I say the fearful mindset, if I take the cosmetics industry is a very vibrant market. It's based on emotional selling proposition. People don't buy a cream. People don't buy a soap. People buy beauty. When they exchange, $400 on a cream, they don't buy a cream. They buy beauty. They exchange $400 for beauty. They exchange $400 for invigoration. They exchange $400 for acceleration. So especially in a market like cosmetics, when the consumer have a fearful mindset about tomorrow, the industry loses the vibrance of the market, and the industry is declining year on year. Cosmetics industry is declining year on year, and especially the color cosmetic market is declining. Though the personal care industry is inclining or growing, the cosmetics market is declining. So that's the biggest challenge, the fearful mindset of the consumer. When the consumer has a fearful mindset, he or she changes the prioritization. And when you changes the prioritization, products such as emotional dream-based products like cosmetics will be left alone, because there are a lot of big things to consider as of now. That's the first challenge. And then we've faced another challenge where the
Philip,
raw
if I come in there,
yeah.
so how did you combat this particular first challenge, Philip? I totally believe in what you're saying. What you're saying is that, a consumer, when they walk into a supermarket or into outlet, they are more concerned about, their health and buying health related products, that, your beauty and being beautiful and looking good. And I suppose a lot of people are not traveling also outside now too. I mean, but you're saying your company is doing good. How is that, Philip?
Okay, we've changed certain strategies, and we've used something called, I'm sure that the students might have heard something called the disruptive innovation, that you use the situation, and we've quickly launched few products at this time. Such as the hand sanitizers and a range of soaps, especially a soap which is a germ killing soap, as well as now you've got a lot of germ killing soaps, but then we've launched a soap which has no synthetic fragrance, but the fragrance itself is a natural oil called lemongrass oil, where the lemongrass oil itself has germ killing properties. And then I've thought, this 22 million is conjectured, and I should reach some top foreign markets with these products. And we are doing really well in Eastern Europe with these products, especially in Czech, Estonia, Slovakia, Slovenia. And then our products were highly accepted in Singapore. And I'm very happy to say that we most probably will be going on above the line TV advertising in Singapore this year. It's a great achievement for a Sri Lankan brand. So rather than complaining or grumbling on this situation, What I've did was I've changed the strategy, disruptive innovation, introduced products which is so closer to lifestyle, and then tap foreign markets with these products. So it worked for me. It's really worked for me.
So, oh, that's fantastic. Actually, the ambassador for Singapore, Her Excellency Shashikala Premawardana, is a fantastic believer of export products, and in fact, she was a guest at APIT about 3 months back.
Oh, great.
And she's a very close friend of mine, Philip. I think you need to touch base. She'll really help you. And actually, the Sri Lankan community there is also fantastic. She's a career diplomat. Philip, what are the other challenges you see? Because I mean, you see things that a lot of us don't see, because your DNA and your mental construct is slightly different, so you can see opportunities that sometimes none of us see. What are the other challenges you see?
Okay, then there was this challenge where certain raw materials was temporarily banned. Let me take an example, because I think it's good for the students to understand, because they all learn pastel, but it's good you learn pastel on the practical format. Turmeric was banned by the government, and I used to buy turmeric at the price of 495 rupees a kilogram, and all of a sudden, because turmeric was banned and there was no cultivation in Sri Lanka, and we use a lot of turmeric for our products, the price of a turmeric kilogram went up to 5,400 Sri Lankan rupees. And this is from 495 rupees to 5,000. Massive jump. And then we were all disturbed. So what we actually did was we quickly adapted backward integration. We have a massive land of 15 acres closer to our factory. We started cultivating turmeric, and now we yield the second crop also. So that we were able to overcome that barrier. And then another obstacle is the illegal gray market. I mean, gray market will always be there, But then the Psycho-Sri Lankan female, especially, no discrimination. We're a tan skin country. There is this dream of the Sri Lankan female to look fairer, to look white. That's a massive dream. So in order to achieve this dream, they would buy these detrimental bleaching-based creams, which comes from different countries in gray market. We've lobbied this, and even the government raised the gazette, banning them. But yet these detrimental products are reaching the market. So this has been a challenge for us, because these products actually work in the physical realm, but unfortunately, these carry a lot of mercury, a lot of heavy metals in it. So you get fairer, but you get cancer also. So this is a challenge which we are still fighting, but we are determined to do as much as possible.
So, I mean, I thought women are not going outside now. Most of them are at home. Why would they want all these beauty care products, Philip?
Now, people think women don't go out, but I just invite you to look into this thought. But a woman would definitely go in front of a mirror. There are 3 occasions that you feel beauty. The first thing is that even me, I'm not shy to say this, and I'm not embarrassed to say this. You go in front of the mirror in the morning and you appreciate yourself. There are 3 situations where you see beauty. One is your self-appreciation in front of a mirror. That is not lost. You still want to go in front of the mirror and say, oh, wow, I've got a lovely skin. The girl would like to say, wow, I still got a lovely hairset. And then the second appreciation is the partner appreciation. Your partner, or if you're married, I'm married, when my wife comes to bed, I said, damn, baby, you look beautiful. That's not gone, though she doesn't go to the society. So she wants to look beautiful in front of me in the bed. And even the loved ones, you make video calls, you can't ignore that. And you want to look beautiful. And so the third one is the one which is missing, which is you going into the society. That's gone. There are no get-togethers, no weddings, no office. Your face, half of it is covered. So that part is gone. but yet you want to look beautiful in front of the mirror. You want to feel good in front of the mirror. So you will buy cosmetics.
So, Philip, in this challenge, how do you get your message across to the consumer? I mean,
Yeah.
have you changed between pre-pandemic and during pandemic the way you market your products?
Yes. The first thing, the biggest challenge we've had is now you don't have. I used to do a lot of brand engagement activities. I used to go to the consumer. We had the largest mobile beauty clinic in South Asia. And we used to go to the consumer, but because of this, it was very challenging because the avenues to reach the consumer was so low. So what we did is we've started banding our samples. We've got 5-gram samples, 2-gram samples, and then we've started banding our products which are with our fast moving products. So you get your sample across, and then you get the brand engagements somehow in a different way. And then on the flip side, we've changed our advertising strategy also. We've moved into influencer marketing in digital. This There is a great trend. I've recently read the UK report on influencer marketing, which is one of the highest trends in the world, where influencers come and talk about your brand. So I've adopted that strategy also in the digital platform. Though people don't go out, they're always in the screen. They're always in the digital realm. So we've used some influencers talk about our products. It has worked for us also. But there's one thing that I do before I do this influencer thing. I gift my products and I first say, you try it first. If it doesn't sit right with your conscience, don't recommend it or don't endorse it. So we worked on that. Those strategies have worked for us really well.
Philip, how do you see, what are the key changes you see from a consumer side between pre-pandemic and today as you speak?
Okay, the first thing is like the people were running crazily without understanding the true meaning in life prior to pandemic. And then all of a sudden, you shocked, and then you you realize the true meaning of life. And then because of it, the consumers change their priorities, and they now focus more on products and services which will have long-term benefit in their lives rather than short-term satisfaction oriented products. Let me just share you some examples. People are more into rational based products, like the products which are on unique selling proposition rather than products which are based on emotional selling proposition. No dreams, no aspiration based products. No, it's all about healthcare, personal care, good food, Ayurvedic products, indoor sports equipments, books, investment products, which they think is good for them in long term, rather than emotional based products which are sold using emotional selling propositions such as cosmetics, fashion, accessories, and all that. So the prioritization of the consumer have changed, and moreover, the average disposable income of the middle class have shrunk. Why? A lot of job cuts, less works, redundancy, collapses in certain industries such as salons, small restaurants, small clothing shops closing. The average disposable income in the middle class is shrinking. And when the average disposable income in the middle class is shrinking, obviously the consumers will opt for smaller size units, smaller SKUs from the big SKUs. These are trends in the market as of now.
Do you see a change in the rural consumer?
There is a definite decline in the need of a rural woman to look beauty. If I can put it like this, beauty and life struggles are two eternal enemies. It's like water and drought to a plant. When there is water, the plant will blossom with flowers. But when there is drought, the plant will not bring out flowers. So when the life struggle is heavy on the rural woman, she will definitely have a focus shift on survival over acceptance. Beauty is acceptance, life is survival. So when the life struggles are higher, you'll obviously focus on survival, which is life. And then the need for beauty will decline, because the economic issues or the mental issues she's going through will definitely steal the happiness of her, which will invariably shift her focus to life more than acceptance. Acceptance is beauty. So there is a decline. There is a decline in the rural market for cosmetics.
So, Philip, uh, what what is the kind of strategy that you adopt practically when it comes to digital marketing? Because you said that digital is big. I mean, what you have your own age in-house, or do you go through outside professional agencies? And if so, what's the kind of mix that you do, and how do you like? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because a
Yeah,
lot of
I
people
understand.
talk digital, but
Now we've appointed a professional digital marketing agency called Z Messenger. They work with us. A very professional organization, and our focus in digital marketing as of now is to maximize as much as engagements, rather than the reach. Obviously, when you say Chandanalepa, in the middle class, the awareness levels are very high. But now we've shifted from awareness to persuasion, where, the, the awareness is there, and now it's all about creating interest via digital marketing, creating or persuasion via digital marketing. That's what I said. We've moved from general awareness based, communication. We've moved into content advertising, pure value based content, where that you get the consumer engage in a dialogue with the brand, and make sure that they start liking the brand, and they invest their heart on the brand rather than general awareness based digital marketing. So that's what we're doing right now.
so do you feel that the engagement during the pandemic was higher between brands and a consumer?
Very much. I mean, people don't have anything to do, I mean, like, you're at home and your best friend is your mobile, and you just browse from, from top to bottom, and then you see somebody who's known to you, and she says, yeah, wow, I would just want to share a secret with you, and she's an influencer, and you just like to listen to her. And she says, well, I've got this Chandanalepa soap. It's amazing. It's a miraculous soap. You have this little pieces of, herbs inside it. I've tried it. People say that I'm lovely now. And then this girl who's persuaded by the ambassador, why not buy a Chandanalepa soap, and that has worked. That's working.
So fantastic, Philip. Philip, can you just practically tell, when you go to an overseas market, I mean, how do you analyze the market? What is your entry strategy into a market? I mean, how do you do that?
International marketing has different aspects. Initially what we did was we didn't have budgets to go on international marketing, which has international branding. So the first thing I've thought is, let me do some, appoint some licensed agents, right? Appointing licensed agents. There are many steps. You either go with the JV, joint venture, or that you go with your wholly owned unit. But then I thought, firstly, let's penetrate the market. Firstly, in countries which are not very powerful in the advertising realm, like such as Eastern Europe, where the competition is less. Czech, Slovakia, Slovenia, Estonia, Poland, Ukraine. And then what we did was, we've started, all Facebook pages for all the countries, and then we've started tying up with certain brands, certain products which have a relativeness to our product, and gave free samples in those countries. And sometimes we've selected regions, not the whole country. For an example, we've started in Prague. Gave samples in all the salons in Prague. Focus in Prague because Prague is endorsing city. Likewise, and then now after certain time, now especially in Singapore, the penetration is very good now. When the penetration is high, now we've decided we'll go on above the line advertising, which is not a good strategy to use, which is very risky. But now, since we've penetrated the market, we do very good sales, especially in one of our soaps, two of our soaps. So that has become the strategy also. And then tying up with ambassadors such as opinion formers and opinion leaders, like the salon owners in those countries. We give them little sponsorships, we give them free products, we get them to endorse our products in their spas, in their healthcare centers. And that has been a strategy also.
Fantastic, Philip. I mean, it's such a enjoyable to see you, marketing coming out of your veins virtually. You can see the DNA of the engagement with the consumer and understand the psyche of a consumer. It's fantastic to see, and I think what the UN did in terms of giving you that transformational doctorate was, it just endorsed with this last discussion that we've had for half an hour. I'm really proud of you, Philip.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, what is the advice you can give young Philip at the age of 20 years?
20 years is a very aggressive age, that you think that you know everything and the others don't know anything. So the advice that I can give is try your level best to be obedient. Try your level best to be humble, because out of arrogancy I've lost a lot of things. Out of my pride, I've lost a lot of things in life. So I always tell my son, you may not understand what I'm saying, but it's always good that you blindly trust me. You can blindly trust me, and I invite you to blindly trust your parents. I invite you to blindly trust your mentors. And it'll be hard, but then always challenge your greatest enemy, which is you. You've got no other enemy. Nobody can. Your neighbor can't change the channels in your TV with his remote. He can't. He can only change channels in his TV. You've got a self-control unit. You've got the liberty of changing channels in you. So as long as that you have the liberty of changing things, make right decisions, be obedient, be humble, and submit yourself to the discipline. That's the greatest advice. Submit yourself. It'll be hard. Submit yourself to the discipline, submit yourself to the structure, submit yourself to the system. One day you'll come out good.
Thank you very much, Philip. I think, Kaushali will endorse this. We have had so many discussions from global personalities who have 7-8 million followers to people who are top personalities in Sri Lanka. But I'm telling you, I have not enjoyed such a discussion like today. And when I put up on WhatsApp to all my friends and students, I said, I put a note saying you must watch, and I was wondering, what would they say at the end of 7:30, but now it's 7:40, and I can see that from the comments that I'm getting on my WhatsApp on my phone. It's actually fantastic. The consumer insights that you shared, how you analyze the export markets, how you looked at changing consumer, and of course, most importantly, your key steps that you would advise a kid and a youngster to look at. Those are real grounded, hands-on. I'm honored to have you on this program, Philip, and I'd like to wish you all the very best. And anyway, we write together in the same page every Sunday time, so I read yours, and sometimes your message is so powerful. I had to cover you and take a photo and put it on Facebook, and that they might not read my article, which is a small article, So I'm so happy.
Thank you
Kaushali,
very much.
over to you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Indeed, Dr. Philip. Thank you so much for this input. For this, this is not something that we can get in a lecture by looking at a theory, by looking at a teaching, and that's the whole purpose of we arranging this type of sessions and chats for our students, because we do believe in our purpose and we do believe in creating future leaders, and we do believe in motivating them in all possible ways. And it's amazing to have listened to your story, and I'm sure there will be, at least as you said, it will take some time to come to you, but I'm sure you have touched so many hearts of our students today, and thank you so much for that.
It's a great pleasure.
And before we wind up, there is one question that has been pressing from the other platform, but let me just direct that to you. So this is from an anonymous attendee. Unfortunately, we don't have the name, but the person would like to really congratulate you, and it was a great interview and very inspiring. I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on the antidepressants? Do they really work? Can you please give your thoughts on that?
It's yeah, they work, but then the issue with is like, uh, you can't run away from an enemy by binding yourself to another enemy. You need to have complete freedom. You can't be, you can't come out of the slavery of drugs, and that you become a slave to cigarettes. You can't be, that cannot. So this now it's been about many years. I've come out of it completely, not only from drugs, mental slavery to fear. So when you get yourself hooked onto it, you'll have confidence on that period after that. So you live on that. No, you need to have confidence in you, not on a pill, not on something else. So I mean, like for me personally, I think it's better that you seek your freedom on comprehensive platform.
Thank you very much. Indeed, indeed. So I'm so thankful again to you for spending this hour or an hour plus time with us, and of course giving this inspiration to all our students. And indeed, it will be an opportunity for all our young graduates, young postgraduates to get within their dreams, and definitely to make sure that they will end up in that chair one day, that they can talk to another set of young generation that's coming in. So
Right.
this brings us to an end of another session, an amazing session, and a purpose that is fulfilled with utmost talk. Thank you very much for that, and we would like to see all of you back again in another webinar. Until then, good night to all of you.
Good night.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you very much.